Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the Baker Act, which at best is a band-aid and at worst is an absolute nightmare for you and your loved one. Let me explain. So we get a lot of calls for folks that want to Baker Act their loved one, and they are under the mistaken belief that by Baker Acting their loved one's going to get the treatment they desperately need and things will, hopefully get better. So let's talk about that because I have issues with the Baker Act, and if you don't know by now from watching my content, I have had a family member that was Baker Acted, and I was there with the cops and the paramedics, and so I know on a very personal level what the Baker Act is and is not, and my office is probably at this point successfully represented, 500, 600, 700 folks that have been Baker Acted and asked us to help to get them out. So the Baker Act is not a treatment statute. It is not designed to treat anything. It is specifically designed and specifically enables and authorizes the state of Florida to take custody of somebody, to make them a temporary ward of the state when as a result of some type of mental health crisis, they need immediate services. Somebody who's suicidal, right? And we need to pick up the phone and call 911. That is what it is designed for. Unfortunately, sometimes folks use the Baker Act thinking that their loved one's going to get help. And I would tell you honestly, I do not think that is the appropriate way to get your loved one help. There are other resources and things and tools that we can use that I'm not going to talk about in this video, but here's what can happen. Let's say you get your loved one Baker Acted. You either call the police and they Baker Act them. You go to the courthouse, you file a petition, an emergency petition, the judge grants it, the police come along, they pick the person up pursuant to the court order, or your loved one gets taken to a hospital, or they're at a therapy session and the qualified professional decides to initiate the issuance of a professional's certificate, and law enforcement come along and take them to a Baker Act facility. Now, if they are being held on an involuntary basis, and remember there's two types of Baker Act in Florida, involuntary and voluntary, but let's just say for the sake of this video that they are involuntary. That means they're probably going to be held for 72 hours. After 72 hours, one of three things is going to happen. Number one, they're going to get released. If they're going to get released and they need treatment, how does that possibly help them? It arguably doesn't, and they probably just come out just really ticked off and frustrated and angry at you for doing this. Number two, they agree to stay on a voluntary basis. Why would anybody agree to stay on a voluntary basis? In my experience, people stay on a voluntary basis because they either get threatened and told that they have to, or horrible things will happen to them, or they get tricked. But either way, they stay on a voluntary basis, which means they can be now held indefinitely without a court order. So, or the other thing that happens is, the third option is the facility decides they want to keep them, and they go ahead and file a petition for placement, and that triggers a 5-day window in which the court has to conduct a hearing, and at that hearing, they're going to decide how much longer your loved one is going to be detained, potentially anywhere from 0 to 6 months. So let's say they do get let out after 72 hours. Does that really help them? I think it's a band-aid. I really do, at best. But what happens if they get stuck there? They're there on a voluntary basis and can't get out. Or the facility goes and gets a court order and doesn't tell you about it, and occasionally doesn't even bother to tell the patient they've gone and gotten a court order. And now they're stuck there for a month, or 2 months, or 3 months, or worse. That to me is a nightmare. And I can tell you, we've had those calls where somebody has been ordered to stay for an extended period of time, and it's just a disaster. They're not getting well. They're being abused, and horrible things are happening. They're being forcibly medicated, and now you're dealing with a situation where things have gone from bad to worse. So when I tell you it's either a band-aid because they're in and out quickly, or it's a nightmare, that's what I'm talking about. And so when the Baker Act is used correctly, it can be a life-saving tool, but unfortunately, it's very often abused and not used correctly. And it's either a band-aid or it's a nightmare, okay? And so if you have a loved one with a long-standing mental health issue, unless they are in need of immediate services, meaning you need to call 911, and if you need to, you should, this is not the tool for the job. It really isn't. And if you want to know how we can help you, then reach out to us, because there are some really amazing tools that we use, some involving the courts, some don't, that can enable you to get your loved one the help that they need, and so you can save them and save your family, because I know what it's doing to your family. It's destroying it. I know what it's doing, and I want to help you. So anyway, enough of that. I appreciate you tuning in. Please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.